We're on. I see it. We're
Okay,
recording.
Dave did it.
I did it.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this town board meeting to order on Monday, December 14th at 7:01 p.m. If you could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, Michelle, I think you're going to have to go back and mute a few individuals, even though I know you took effort to.
I did. It says that they're muted.
There's one. I'm not. Oh, I think it might be Dave Makish. A Furniture seems to not be muted, but as long as there's no background noise, I think we're fine.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. First order of business is a public hearing. At our last meeting, a resolution was passed.
Oh, Ken, I'm sorry. Unmute yourself, please. Ken? Hold on. There you go.
Check. Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's begin again. First order of business, public hearing. At our last meeting, a resolution was passed to schedule a public hearing on the Woodland sewer budget. This is a statutory requirement for the town to hold this public hearing. First, I'd like to open this public hearing at 7:03. Do I have a second? I'd like to make a motion to open this. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Michelle Lindsay. I think I have to take a vote, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll open public hearing. Michelle Lindsay.
Aye.
Maria May.
Aye.
Jay Reichcott.
Aye.
Dave McMillan.
Aye.
And myself, Ken English. Aye. Okay, so again, this is the public hearing about the Woodland Sewer Corp 2001 budget to request. We actually did request participation from the Woodlands. We contacted Dan Nugent and also Irene Logan. We did not get a response as to someone attending. If there's someone here from the Woodlands, please raise your hand, or to my knowledge, there's nobody from. To my knowledge, there's nobody from the Woodlands here, but a public notice for this meeting has been posted, and so we've met the requirements for the public hearing.
I will unmute all, and if someone from the Woodlands would like to speak, let me do that for a second.
Only people from the Woodlands.
Well, I have
And
to.
that would be a representative, not public comment. You must be a representative representing formally the Woodlands. That's what we're looking for right now.
Okay, here we go. I'm unmuting all, so if a representative is on, they can speak. And would you like, since it's a public hearing, for it then to be open to residents of the Woodlands now?
First let me get it started.
Okay. Okay.
To identify if someone's here. And I don't think you've unmuted people because I see all microphones muted.
I said unmute all. Oh, they have to unmute themselves. Okay.
Okay, well, if somebody's here from the Woodlands representing officially, not just a resident, you can unmute yourself and let us know. I'm going to proceed, Michelle.
Okay.
So The purpose of this public hearing is to receive comments regarding the proposed 2021 sewer rates at the Woodlands. Under the New York State Transportation Corporation law, sewer rates for private sewer companies, which are formed with town board approval and are subject to Transportation Corporation law, they are subject to town board approval after a public hearing. As the rates are set yearly, we must have a hearing every year, which is why we have done so today. So I'd just like to make a comment. I did review the budget that was submitted to us. First of all, I'd like everyone in our listening to this to understand that the town budget, the town board has no oversight of this budget. This is just a statutory regulation that the town board hosts this public hearing. We have no oversight of setting the rates for this sewer district. This is a private sewer district. But I can tell you, in reviewing the budget, I see the sewer assessment constant for 3 years at $121,680. And I also see on the budget submitted that there is a budget surplus of $345,000. So with no professional interjection there, I'm just saying that the budgets remain static, the sewer assessment, and it seems like they have a very comfortable budget surplus. I'd like to see if anybody from the town board or our town attorney has anything to add to that before I open it to public comment. Over.
Yeah, Howard here. The one of the reasons for town board oversight of these rates is just to make sure that the system is being run appropriately and that some reserves are appropriate, because if capital expenses are going to arise in the future, as they always do with sewer plants, as the town board knows, the funds to pay for those come from the company and the budget. So it's healthy to have a reserve, as they seem to.
Thank you, Howard. I did send this budget to everybody on the town board. If somebody wants to share the screen of that shot, that would be fine. Anybody else from the town board have a comment about the budget?
No, I'm good.
Can somebody bring that budget up? Are you working on that, Michelle?
I'm working on it.
Thank you very much. I could see the wheel spinning. Literally on my screen, I see something spin. In the meantime, if anybody from the public wants discussing the Woodland sewer budget at this point, I see call-in user. Somebody just unmuted yourself. Please go ahead. Please identify yourself and go ahead.
Hey, Ken, it's Frank Peverly. I don't know if there's a call-in user that unmuted themselves, but I don't hear them speaking. I don't know if you're looking at me or someone else.
You can go, Frank. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to say, I've not been part of the HOA for 5 years now, but I ran the HOA for 15 years and the sewer plant for 15 years. And I would just say that I don't think things have changed much, but it's a pretty well-run plan. To what your council said, we got numbers in there, and the assessments have stayed generally flat for probably the last 20 years. I know there's been minor increases recently, and to your point, I think the last 3 years are pretty stable. But based on prior experience and my knowledge, the plant's well run, there's healthy reserves. I do think there's probably some sand bed replacement scheduled in the near future. But I would say that the plant is in good condition, and from my position as a prior member of the sewer plant and now as a resident, I think we're in a good spot, and this assessment's not something the community should be overly concerned about. I think we're in a good spot.
Okay, Ken, can
Thank you.
you
You're
speak?
breaking up a little bit, Frank, but that was Frank Peverly. Thank you, Frank. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just going to say, can everybody see the screen? It's sideways, but
It's actually sideways. I think Frank. Again, I noted that there's 121,000. As Frank pointed out, the sewer assessment it's level all the way across this particular document, and as Frank reported, it's been like that for quite a while. And there is a large budget surplus, but no, unfortunately, I can't see that, Michelle, and I have a
You
feeling it's the
can't?
same for everybody else. It's just sideways, and
well, it's sideways, but like that, I can't figure out how to change.
Yeah, I
think-
would offer, Ken, it's Frank again, that many
Frank.
years ago, we replaced the sand beds and we did an assessment. And after that, we decided we wanted to build the reserve strong enough so we wouldn't have to do an assessment again. And I don't pretend to speak for the current board, but I'm assuming they're carrying on that same sort of philosophy to have a healthy reserve. So when the sand beds have to replace, there's no assessment on the community.
Thank you again, Frank. That's the spreadsheet seems to concur with your analysis. So, Michelle, I think the spreadsheet. Thank you for your gallant effort, and I'll see if there's any call-in users or anybody who wants to make a comment. Of course, really would be most appropriate if you're from the Woodlands Sewer District. Otherwise, this really doesn't affect you. I'll give it another 60 seconds, and we're going to. Okay, I'd like to make a motion. I'll ask for a second in a moment, that all persons desiring to be heard, having been heard, that we will close this public hearing on the Woodlands proposed sewer rates for 2021. Do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Maria May. I just want to make sure there's no further town board discussion. I believe I've given that ample time. So I'm going to close this public hearing at 7:13 p.m. Just
Take a
making
roll
note of
call?
that time.
Ken,
Yes, Howard.
at this point, if you want, you could make a motion to approve the rates as presented.
Okay, I would like to do that. Thank you, Howard. Make a motion to approve the rates as presented. I'll take as a roll call vote. Michelle Lindsay,
Aye.
Maria May,
Aye.
Scott,
All right.
Dave McMillan,
Aye.
and myself, Ken English, aye. So we've closed the public hearing and also now have approved rates as presented on the spreadsheet this evening. Are we good?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, moving down, I'm going to move to approving the minutes. And I'll be calling, I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes from the regular town board meeting held on November 23rd. I'd need a second.
Second.
Deputy Supervisor Lindsay. Do I have any discussion or additions or edits that anybody needs to make?
No, I didn't.
And if you do, please pass them on to our town clerk, Maria Dolbaum. I'm going to take a vote to accept the minutes. I'm going to start with Maria May.
Aye.
Jay Reichcott.
Sorry, all at sixes and sevens.
Jay
Aye.
Reich. Thank you. Michelle.
Aye.
David McMillan.
Aye.
Myself, aye. So it's for November 23rd have been accepted and approved. On my sheet, I have supervisor's update. I hope my sound is good. I'm hearing some weird sound. I hope you can hear me undisturbed.
You know what,
I'll do my
since we're
best to
finished
speak
with,
clear.
since we're finished with that public hearing, I'll go back to muting all. And then anybody who needs to on
Thank
the
you.
board unmute themselves.
Is my voice fairly discernible?
Now I don't hear you at all. Do you need to? No.
Now, there you
There
go.
you go.
I think I'm unmuted.
You are.
Now I'll ask again. Can you hear me loud and clear?
We can.
Thank you very much. Supervisor's update. Then after this, I'll if there's any town board members updates. So you guys for a moment. Supervisor's update. Tuxedo Farms LDC, it's the wastewater treatment plant, has the scheduled attorney-client meeting on Thursday, December 17th at 11 a.m. with our attorneys from Harris Beach and Jacobowitz and Gubitz, Howard Prater. We will review the recommendations established by a special counsel, Lana Ivy. It is our hope that we can reestablish communication with related and move toward our goal of activating the wastewater treatment plant by July 1st, 2021. Second, Tuxedo Policemen's Benevolent Association contract negotiations are ongoing. The Deputy Supervisor, Michelle Lindsay, and myself, supported by our town attorney, Howard Prater, and labor consultant, Michael Richardson, met with the Tuxedo PBA representatives on December 3rd. We expect to set a meeting before the end of the year. The town board will receive a detailed update on these talks this evening in an executive session. On Wednesday, December 9th, I convened a meeting with Highway Superintendent Robert Dolbaum, Councilperson Jay Reichgott, Town Engineer Sean Hoffman, and environmental consultants from HES Engineering, led by William Canavan. The goal of this meeting is to establish a chemical sound that is needed to begin removing the contaminated materials from the. This is a major undertaking, and as you know, we've made great progress since the spring of 2020 in processing materials at the Highway Department, and thanks to Rob Dolbaum and his team working out there, they've made amazing progress. Also, on Wednesday, same day, Jay Reichgott and I met with at Long Meadow Road property to discuss revised terms on their. After a market analysis, it was determined that the rent agreed to on leases were well below market value. As a result, the town board decided to raise the rent by 20%. It was also decided that the amount of security deposit needed to be increased to better protect the town in case of damages. A one-year lease was offered, one-year lease extension. During the next year, the town board will carefully monitor the use of these properties to ensure that the environmentally sensitive watershed property is protected. I'd like to now I need to announce that the town justice court was ordered closed by New York State. They need to cancel all in-person activity with the public until further notice. This is due to increasing COVID positive testing rates across the state and in our region. But I will also know that the Justice Court has initiated online payments, and so that's a big step forward, that people don't necessarily need to come to the courts to settle their outstanding violations. Additionally, the town board, planning board, and zoning board meetings will continue to be held virtually through this WebEx portal until further notice. The governor has extended his executive order until January 1st, 2021, but I expect this to continue well into the new year. And if necessary, I will impose executive order for local if necessary, but right, we're just following the lead of the governor. So for further reminders that we must continue to exercise careful behavior over the upcoming holiday season. Please try to do your part. Protect yourself, your neighbors, and your loved ones. Phone over to town board members. I know Maria May had an update that she wanted to share with us. Go ahead, Maria.
I'm sure. So I actually put this in the chat. And, I had some inquiry. There were some inquiries from some folks in town about the Salzburg Route 17 road work, and so I spoke both to the two entities that are involved in the work, which is New York State Department of Transportation. I spoke to Oscar Pinera, who is in charge of this particular project, and then also ONR, Frank Beverly, who is in charge of the ONR information communication. So so what we found out was that there's two projects going on that are related. So the first was the sewer project in Salzburg. The reason was because the original contractors made a mistake and hurt the gas lines under the streets. So then that involved Orange and Rockland having to go in and fix the gas line. So for now, the work in Salzburg on Route 17 is mostly complete. It's going to be stopped for the winter. I think the sewer project is mostly completed. They're completing the complete street kind of project for DOT for the town of Salzburg, which involves like sidewalks and new dye road and things like that. And those, road dye, so that will be involved in the spring. They expect that the work will be continued. We completed by September of 2021. In the chat, I put in a login place, a website where you can look and see what their different milestones are for this project. In terms of ONR, they said that the gas lines were damaged during the original sewer project, are still being fixed. That is ongoing work. It should be done by spring 2021. So, that will be mostly not going on in the winter as well. So as you can see on the roads, they have repaved everything. There's no more metal plates and things like that. They filled in potholes and they expect the work to be completed by, both projects by September of 2021. If you want more information, you can go to the link that I put in the chat, and that you can see the DOT complete street information that they'll tell you like when the next milestones are for the project. So I don't know if there are any questions or. Also, this information will be on the website. We did open our new website, and we are putting this information on the website for you in the announcement. I just didn't get a chance to put it in today, so it'll be there for you in the next day or so.
Thank you, Maria. All right, do that. And meanwhile, I'll just mention my only update for the month is that the joint town and village climate smart community task force met on December 7th. We have meetings the first Monday of every month. If people want to join us, let me know, or Jim Hayes know from the village. We had a presentation on community choice aggregation, and we'll be getting that ready for a public meeting. That's my report.
Thank you. I'm having to work from telephone, Michelle, so I'm not
Okay.
sure what call-in user I am. Hopefully you can hear me.
Your call-in
Sorry.
user 8.
Okay, well, I'm using my audio from my phone, and hopefully
Okay.
I won't cause any feedback. Jay, did you have anything you wanted to update on?
Not particularly, although I will call people's attention to the weather that we're likely to be having Wednesday night into Thursday. The National Weather Service is predicting anywhere from a foot to 2 feet of snow in Tuxedo, which could be significant. Of course, it could be nothing also, but now would be a good time to make sure you know where your flashlights and snow shovels and extra gas for the generator are.
You know, on the lines of public announcements like that, I just went over to the Anthony Wayne Testing Center off of the Palisades Interstate Parkway, and boy, are they organized over there. So I'll put the number you can call to make an appointment if you would like to get tested for COVID up on the website. We could put that. Maria, you can help me put that up. Okay. Ken, I think you have to unmute your phone.
Oh, yeah, I have done that as well. I've used Anthony Wayne for testing. Well, in my other job, 20% of us have to be tested because we're in a yellow zone in Suffern. And yeah, it was pretty organized and great. And
Very
Thank you,
easy.
Michelle. Dave, if you can go down the participants list and just see that we have people muted. I'm getting terrible feedback, but okay. Thank you. Dave, I wanted to check in with you for updates if you had any.
Sure, Ken. I don't have anything business-wise, but I'd like to note the passing of a former supervisor, Ted Hoffman. He was supervisor of town of Tuxedo in 1975 and 1976, so quite a while ago, but he was active in the fire company, and he's also my neighbor. So I'd just like to note that he has passed away.
Very sad to hear that, and thank you for that acknowledgement. That was before my time in Tuxedo, but I do appreciate the service. Did you repeat his name again, Dave? It broke up when you were speaking.
Sure, Ted Hoffman. Ted Hoffman.
Ted Hoffman. Is he still a resident here in town? Was he? Excuse me.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he lived right around the corner. He's on Nursery Road over here with me. Yeah.
Well, please extend condolences to his family and friends and neighbors. Very sad to hear, and thank you, Dave.
Thank you. That's all I have, Ken.
Thank you. I'd like to move to the vouchers. I'd like to make a motion to that the following vouchers have been audited by the town be approved for payment. I'll read the information and then ask for a second. Claims number 201-291-7685 to 201-291-7761. Please note 201-291-7709 was deleted to an entry error. I'd like to ask the town board first. Let me ask if there's any discussion on this item.
not for me.
Thank you, everyone. I'll assume that we've that silence is an acknowledgement that we're accepting. Can I have a second on this motion, please?
I'll
Second.
I'll take Maria May. Okay. Seconded by Maria. So I'll take a roll call vote. I'll start with you again, Maria May.
Aye.
Jay Reichcott.
All right.
Sorry, I think we're having some trouble with Jay Reichcott.
Aye. Yes.
Thank you. Michelle Lindsay.
Aye.
Dave McMillan.
Aye.
Dave McMillan on the
Aye.
approval.
Said aye. Yeah.
Thank
He
you,
said
Ken.
aye.
Thank you. And myself, Ken English, aye. So unanimous on approving of the vouchers. We have a pretty full agenda. I did want to get to the monthly reports. I know the chief, if the chief on, and I'll move then to the town clerk. And
Okay, I will, let's see.
give some highlights from the chief's report. If you're doing it, Michelle, that would be great.
Let's see if the chief is on. There are a number of phone users. Chief Abbott, are you on?
Yeah, please unmute yourself, Chief, or Lieutenant Norton.
They did have a busy month. Do you want to go through the report?
Good. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties on my end. If you could just hit a few of the highlights, that would be great.
Okay, pick up some highlights. Detective Stefan Christian and Officer Shiloh gave CPR and utilized the defibrillator on a 64-year-old resident. The resident was transported to Good Samaritan and did survive, and the chief's notes were great save. There were a number of domestic accidents. There was a suicide from someone. It happened in Tuxedo, but the person was from Saddle River, New Jersey. There's some domestic situations. Sad to say, it's in the report here. Jim Freeman passed away. I don't know if you knew him, but he attended every single one of our learning about local government lectures at the library. He was very active in St. Mary's Choir, very intelligent, interesting person, and miss him.
Thank you. I'm very sad to hear.
What else? That's it. Unfortunately, there were a lot of incidences with emotional disturbances.
Yeah, it's been highlighted in both national and local news. You know, that's one of the issues facing police departments throughout the country. You know, how many calls are dependent on social issues, and yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen this number in the past, but in the last couple of months we have. It's sad.
Yes,
That's
thank
it.
you. I'll move to the town clerk, Marissa.
Can you unmute yourself? There's.
Did you want me just to do the department update, or did you want me to go over
Yeah.
the monthly report?
Department update.
Okay, I just have a quick update. The town of Tuxedo will be reactivated with the DEC, so residents will be able to come in and get their hunting and fishing licenses. DEC changed their software and printer, and we were deactivated, so we had to go through the process to get reactivated, to take a quiz, and submitted that. So we're in the final phase of that, and we should get that soon. Unfortunately, it will probably be after this year's hunting season, but going forward, we'll be able to offer that service to residents.
Great. I know I get my fishing license from you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You asked about whether for your department, and I'm sorry, what else did you think I was asking you to do, Marissa? Because maybe that would be appropriate.
I submitted the standard monthly report, but that's just figures as far as dog licenses and marriages that came in through the month.
Thank you. Yes, we are in receipt of that. Thank you very much, Marissa.
You're welcome.
Rob Dolbaum, are you on the call? And I know also Dave Makish is on.
Yeah, I'm here, Ken. I don't know if can you hear me?
Can hear you. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Basically, leaf pickup ended today. From this point forward, any leaves you put out must be in bags. So for the people that haven't gotten their yards cleaned up or whatever, leaves have to go in bags. The roof to the records room was completed about a week ago. So that's a project that's been on the books that's completed now. Yes, we're getting ready for snow plowing. As Jay pointed out, 1 to 2 feet of snow is coming. And you may see us out there later doing a little salting if it gets any colder. But it's that time of year. So please, anybody that has a car and doesn't have a driveway, find a place to park it, not on the street. So it makes our job easier and it keeps your car safe. And then also, that's basically it. That's what we have going on right now. We are doing a little, in the next week and a half, we are going to be starting to separate some of the rock and stuff up there in the front. Now that the leaf season's over and we have a little bit of time, spare time, depending on the snow. And then the last thing is I just want to tell everybody have a safe and healthy and happy holidays. I know it's tough this year, but wish everybody the best.
For that, I'd like to echo that. Absolutely. Happy holidays to all of you out there, and again, be safe. Rob, just a quick question: are you still doing the electronics recycling?
Oh yes, now the electronics is going to the end of January. So everybody that gets a new computer, a new neat little toy or whatever, you can bring up the old one, and we'll be recycling them. Appliances. Dishwashers, appliances, refrigerators, things like that, you can bring them up. Wash machines, whatever, instead of leaving them on the side of the road. That's one last thing I'd like to say. We seem to have a chronic dumping problem on East Monbassia and on Orange Turnpike. Appears that possibly a commercial entity or somebody at least with a small dump truck has been dumping brush, looks like a landscaper possibly, but we're going to have to deal with that in some fashion because they just keep dumping truckload after truckload of yard waste and like landscaping debris. So I know that Sterling Forest State Park cleaned it up on Orange Turnpike and the place is full right back up again. So, and you can tell that it's a commercial truck that's dumping. It's not somebody shoveling something out of the back of a pickup. So anyway, so that's it. That's what I got.
Something, say something and snap a picture. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think if we make an example of the first, I know there's a law in the books that it's a $5,000 fine. No matter who it is, you make an example out of the first couple people, put it in the photo news. Maybe people will go somewhere else and dump their garbage.
Absolutely. With the appliance recycling, does that include? I know it includes microwaves. How about things like toaster ovens and blenders? Are those worthy of that, or?
Absolutely, Ken. Yes. Microwaves, blenders, toaster ovens, and any small appliances you have. Absolutely. No TVs. Along
No
the line
TVs,
there,
nothing with the
Flat
big screw. The flat screens, though, are okay, right?
Right. So for the people that may have already dumped their TV there, please don't bring any more, because apparently they don't know how to read the thing, and somebody seems to think it's okay to dump their TVs there. But please, no TVs.
Thank you, Rob.
Rob, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
May. I saw.
Maria.
Hi. So on Route 17 on Orange Turnpike, right near Route 17, on the right side as you're going towards Monroe, there's a tree that seems to be leaning against a power line. I just
Right.
noticed it a couple of days ago. I wasn't sure if it was something that I should tell you or if this is something that we should let ONR know, but I'm worried about the snow, that if something becomes heavy, that tree is going to, break, bring down that power line. So I wasn't sure, where the information should go, but I
Well,
figured at least I'll let you know now.
Well, that can go to ONR, but possibly it's not an ONR problem. It's a telephone or a cable problem. It depends on the line that it's on, Maria. I'll ride by and look I'll ride by and look and see, and then we'll be able to contact the right people. Typically, if it's a cable or phone type thing, they don't seem to want to rush out to do much maintenance on their lines, but ONR is right on top of it. So I will call. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm looking at our time. We actually have our consultant waiting for us to join executive session, so I have no choice but to move this forward. I'm going to read the agenda items and then ask for brief public comments on them. We have 4 agenda items. One has been canceled, so we really have 3. Agenda item number 1, annexation petitions of Rattlesnake Mountain Preserve. Of course, we'll be explaining that momentarily. Agenda item number 2, snow and ice agreement with Town of Warwick. We've already discussed that at previous town board meetings. It's really a formalization of that. And agenda item number 3 was talking about a SOS Gulf Station moratorium that's been tabled. We're awaiting a resolution from our attorney, from the planning board attorney, Rick Golden. And agenda item number 4, resolution to remove unlicensed vehicles from 1048 Route 17. So this is a moment here for public comments on agenda items. Michelle, if you could do your best to manage that. Please, public, unmute yourself. We'll take turns, but this is only for a comment on agenda items. Over.
Hey, how's it going? I don't know if you guys can hear me there. My name is Nick Kunkel. I'd like to talk about agenda item number 4.
Okay, you can make a comment about it, but we'll be discussing it momentarily. Please.
Beautiful. Okay, then I can roll till then. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else comment on agenda item? Okay, I'm going to move to agenda item number 1. Town board members, please. Agenda item number 1, annexation petitions of Rattlesnake Mountain Preserve. This is an agreement that dates.
I'm sorry, Ken. Hold on. Ken, can you unmute yourself?
I'm actually. Michelle, you need.
I'm trying. There, you're muted now. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Hold on just 1 second, Ken. I think you're calling user 8, so I'm gonna unmute. Okay. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself on your phone. No, darn. Okay.
Would you like me to introduce this topic?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. This the town is in receipt of 2 petitions for annexation of some vacant land that adjoins the village of Tuxedo Park. One of these parcels was contemplated to be annexed to the village at the time that the town, the village, related, Orange County Land Trust, etc., had those transactions, many of you may remember, in 2014, 2015, where the town acquired about 700 to 900 acres of vacant land. During that process, and amongst those agreements, was an acknowledgement that this parcel, which is represented in petition number 1, which was part of the what's it called, the Fox Hill Tract, that was going to be annexed to the village of Tuxedo Park. So that topic had already been discussed back then. It's taken a while, but now the property owner, Rattlesnake Mountain Preserve, is making its application for that annexation. There's a second annexation petition for an adjoining piece, which was not part of any agreement that the town had been privy to at the time, but apparently there was an agreement with the village of Tuxedo Park regarding that. So the town's obligation under the general municipal law when it receives a petition for annexation is to review the application and then conduct a joint hearing with the village of Tuxedo Park so that the public can be heard as to whether the annexation is in the overall public interest. So tonight, before the board, is the first resolution in this process. As you'll see when the resolution is read, the board acknowledges receipt of the 2 petitions and it recites its obligations, and also notes that one of the obligations the town has and the village has is to comply with New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. And so far, the required forms for seeker compliance have not been provided by the petitioners. So the board is going to this evening determine that the application and the petition is incomplete for that reason. And it's also going to authorize cooperation and coordination with the village to prosecute and to pursue the petitions to their conclusion.
Thank you, Howard. Ken, are you back on?
Yes, I believe.
Okay, we hear you.
Okay, my video feed is gone, but I'll just read the resolution. So, whereas the town board is in receipt of a petition by Rattlesnake Mountain Preserve, LLC, for the annexation of territory known as Section 9, Block 1, Lot 26, located in the town of Tuxedo, for annexation into the village of Tuxedo Park of vacant lands consisting of approximately 24.8 acres, parcel number 1. And whereas the town board is in receipt of a second petition by Rattlesnake Mountain Preserve, LLC, for the annexation of territory known as Section 8, Block 1, Lot 25, located in the town of Tuxedo, for annexation into the village of Tuxedo Park of vacant lands consisting of approximately 28.6 acres, parcel number 2. And whereas said annexation of parcel number 1, formerly known as Fox Hill Tract, was contemplated by the duly authorized agreements and resolutions by the town and the Village of Tuxedo Park at the time of the conveyances of open space by the related companies to the town and village. And whereas the town will be required to process the applications in accordance with the requirements of the General Municipal Law and the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and whereas the petitioner has not submitted to the town any of the required secret forms as required under the law and is therefore incomplete, and whereas petitions have been submitted to the Village of Tuxedo Park as required by General Municipal Law, and whereas the petitions indicate that the intent of the annexation is to facilitate the subdivisions of the lands into residential lots, and whereas the town and village need to coordinate their review of the petitions under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. Number one, receipt of petitions is hereby acknowledged. Number two, petitions are deemed incomplete without the required SEQA forms and cannot be processed without them. Number three, the submission of the required SEQA forms, the town shall consider lead agency status. Number four, the petitioner shall deposit with the town the sum of $2,500 as a good faith estimate to cover the costs and expenses of the town in processing these applications. And number five, the town attorney is authorized to communicate and coordinate with the applicant and the village attorney for scheduling of the joint public hearings. That is the complete verbiage of the resolution. Any discussion by town board members?
Well, it seems to me we have to wait for the petitions to be completed with the required seeker forms. And then we can move to the next step. But it sounds like Howard is able to move and communicate to get all of that set up. Or to schedule the joint hearings.
Pass this resolution just so that we acknowledge that we received the petition. But Howard, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you should consider the adoption of this resolution this evening because this sets forth the fact that you've received them, that you're missing some information. It informs the applicant of that, and requires a deposit to help cover your expenses in connection with the review of the petitions, and authorizes me to communicate and coordinate. So this is a logical first step for you to take.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
This is Jay. I just have one comment. Tax lot numbers and all are great, but at some point, as we consider this further, I'd like the applicant to provide a map that shows where this stuff is. I mean, I appreciate that it's on the borders with the village, so that narrows it down somewhat, but I don't think that would be unreasonable for them to provide a survey and some accompanying data that shows what it is that we're giving away.
Yeah, just to be clear, Jay, in the petitions, there are meets and bounds descriptions, but there is no map, and the map would definitely be helpful for everybody's review.
And certainly for the public hearing, right? For people to know what's intended. Okay.
And I understand that at least one of these parcels was basically an agreement made by a previous administration to do this with the village, et cetera. And now that we have a second one, I just like to know what we got for it, or what we're going to get for it. Because nobody goes to this effort if it's not worth anything.
We could have a client conversation about that another time.
Very good.
Okay, one other item, Howard, that I just want to put on record. I think there's some leeway in who takes the lead on this and who assumes most of the responsibility for conducting this. I know there's a joint public hearing that needs to happen, but my feeling is since this property is being annexed by the Village of Tuxedo Park, hopefully they can assume most of that responsibility that goes along with this if that follows legal advice.
Howard, can you unmute yourself? Hold on. You can unmute yourself. Or here, I'll unmute you.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I had lost the screen.
He was. Are you there, Ken?
Yes.
Repeat the question for Howard about lead agency.
Well, it's about lead agency, and I had reviewed the documents in the rattlesnake file, the submission, and it seemed like there was some discretion, because this is a two-agency transaction. It mentioned something to the effect that, one agency could kind of. It seems like the bulk of the responsibility should fall on the Village of Tuxedo Park, but that's just a layman's interpretation of what I read in the documents.
Yeah, now I understand your question. Yes, in these situations, one agency typically will assume lead agency status. Both parties comply with seeker, but one agency assumes that status. And since this is proposed for development at some point in the future in the village, most of the presumed impacts will be in the village. Therefore, it is appropriate, at least at this early juncture, to certainly consider allowing the village to assume lead agency status. But until we receive the seeker forms, we do not know exactly which agencies may be involved in permitting. That'll be identified in the seeker forms, and it'll make it easier for us to make that determination about who should assume lead agency status.
So I assume a similar process is happening in the Village of Tuxedo Park. To my knowledge, I was speaking with Marissa Dolbaum today. It seems like she has not been contacted by the Tuxedo Park clerk, Elizabeth Dougherty. So just, it seems like there's mutual obligation here. So this is the first annexation I've presided over. It seems like there needs to be cross contact happening.
Yeah, I have reached out to the village attorney, and as the board knows, he had reached out to me initially. So I think we'll, once this process gets underway, the communication will be clearer and cleaner.
That's great, because in the attorney's letter, it did mention a 218-day process, and of course, I was concerned that the clocks started on November 17th, and then there was a follow-up obligation where we had to publish a notice in an official newspaper. I believe it was 20 days after initial receipt of the petition. So I would assume that's not only Tuxedo, but Tuxedo Park. I'm just kind of wondering where we're at with that timeline. I guess because we're saying the petition was incomplete, then the clock really shouldn't be starting over.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I think we need to move this forward, and it seems like this is a very preliminary step in this process. We've read through the resolution, and hopefully we're ready to take a roll call vote on this, town board members.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I see some thumbs up. I'm going to start out. Maria May?
Aye.
Jay Reichcott?
Aye.
Michelle Lindsay?
Aye.
Dave McMillan?
Aye.
And myself, Ken English, aye. Okay, this first resolution is unanimously. All right, we're going to move to agenda item number 2. This is a snow and ice agreement with the town of Warwick. I'll just remind people we did have an extensive discussion about this. Rob Dovan pointed out that most years we have it. This is about a road. It's Old Forge Road in Warwick, which is over by the old International Paper Jehovah's Witnesses building off of Long Meadow Road. This is a stretch of road. I think it's probably about a mile long or maybe less. Tuxedo averages 16 storms per year. It costs about 1.5 man-hours per storm with an overtime rate of $127.50. So we estimate labor costs to be about $33,060. And with the 1 ton of salt, another $1,360 expense. So it's going to average about $4,500. And the resolution, I believe, calls for a payment of $6,000. So this is the resolution agreement for snow and ice control on Old Forge Road. I'll read the resolution and then ask for a second. The resolution, which will be brought to the table by me, that the town board authorizes the town supervisor to execute an agreement with the town of Warwick, whereby the town will provide services for the control of snow and ice on Old Forge Road for the 2020-2021 season at the compensation rate of $6,000. So I believe we discussed this before, but if there's any town board member who has any question, please go ahead. If you could show me on the screen whether you're okay, or thumbs up means you're good. I see Michelle, Jay up. I don't see, I do see Dave. Thank you, Dave. Okay, and myself, Ken English. So I'm going to do the roll call vote now. Maria May.
Aye.
Sorry, Maria, I need your vocal, if you could just.
Oh, aye.
Thank you. Jay Reichcott. I know you gave me a thumbs up, but I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Jay. Please go ahead.
You got a head of flag there, Ken. Aye.
Okay, Michelle Lindsay.
Aye.
Kenneth English, aye, and Dave McMillan.
Aye.
Hey, I don't know if I actually got a second on that. If somebody?
I did not, but I'll second it.
That's Michelle Lindsay. Okay. You. All right. That's concluded agenda item number 2. Agenda item number 3 was the SOS Gulf Station moratorium. This has been tabled, as I explained earlier. We are awaiting a resolution from Attorney Rick Golden. I will move to agenda item number 4. I know we had somebody who had a comment about it. I'm going to read what our agenda item is first. This is a resolution to remove unlicensed vehicles from 1048 Route 17. Tonight, the town board will consider a resolution that establishes the town board's intention to enforce code related to the excessive storage of unregistered and junk vehicles on a particular residential property. This residence is in Southfield's 1048 Route 17 that has more than 40 vehicles on site that clearly violates our code. The violation was brought to the homeowner's attention, Donna Kunkel, back on January 28th. Several attempts were made by our code enforcement officer, Dave Makish, to meet with the owner back in February. He's had several communications with the resident since then. Upon the issuance of this resolution, the code enforcement officer will communicate with the town board the town board's intention to rectify this situation. Hopefully, a timely response by the property owner will rectify this. The expected completion is January 14th. Our resolution reads as follows: authorizing the removal of unlicensed vehicles from 1048 Route 17, Southfields, New York. Whereas Town Code Section 94.4 provides in relevant part, quote, it shall be unlawful for any person, It shall be unlawful for any person, firm, or corporation, either as owner, occupant, lessee, agent, tenant, or otherwise of property within the town of Tuxedo, to store or deposit or cause or permit to be stored or deposited an abandoned junk or discarded vehicle or part or piece thereof on any private property within the town of Tuxedo, unless A, such vehicle is stored or deposited in a completely enclosed building, or B, such vehicle is under repair, reconstruction, or refurbishing by the owner thereof, who must actually be residing on the premises. Such vehicle must be maintained and protected so as not to create any safety hazard or nuisance to surrounding property owners, and shall not remain on the premises for more than 1 month. And whereas on January 30th, 2020, the Town and Code Enforcement Officer, David Makish, sent to Donna Kunkel, the owner of property located at 1048 Route 17, Southfields, New York, a notice of violation in order to remedy requiring the removal of all unlicensed vehicles located on that property within 5 days in accordance with Town Code Section 94.5. And whereas thereafter, on several occasions, Mr. Makish spoke with George Kunkel, a resident of the property regarding the removal of vehicles, and no vehicles have been removed after 10 months. And whereas on December 3rd, 2020, Mr. Makish sent the second order to remedy and a notice violation to Donna Kunkel, again requiring the removal of vehicles within 5 days and advising Ms. Kunkel that this matter would be brought to the attention of the town board for its action to cause the removal of the vehicles by the town board authority established under Town Code Section 94.7 in the event the vehicles remained on the property as of the date of this town board meeting. And whereas Section 94.7 provides in relevant part, the town board, by resolution, may cause any abandoned, junk, discarded, or unlicensed vehicle, as herein defined, to be removed from any property within the town of Tuxedo upon the failure of such owner, tenant, or occupant to comply with the written notice aforementioned within the time limit. Said removal may be performed by the building inspector or other designee, including a private contractor. The town board shall ascertain the cost of such removal, and such cost shall be charged and assessed against the owner, tenant, or occupant of the property. The expense so assessed shall constitute a lien and charge on the real property on which it is levied upon until paid or otherwise satisfied or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner and at the same time as other town charges. The removal of any abandoned, junk, discarded, or unlicensed vehicles by the town of Tuxedo or as a designee shall not operate to excuse such owner, tenant, or occupant from properly maintaining their property as herein above set forth, and such owner, tenant, or occupant shall notwithstanding be subject to the penalties above mentioned. And I'm almost finished. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. The board authorizes the removal of all unlicensed vehicles located at 1048 Route 17 Southfields, New York, as of January 14th, 2021. Number two, the removal shall be by the building inspector or a private contractor, and that such cost of removal, inclusive of any cost of storage, as may be imposed, shall be charged and assessed against the owner, tenant, or occupant of the property. Number three, the expense so assessed shall, if unpaid, constitute a lien and charge on the real property on which it is levied until paid or otherwise satisfied or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner and at the same time as other town charges. Number four, a copy of this resolution shall be delivered to the property owner and the occupant by mail or by in-hand delivery on the premises within 3 days of this resolution. Number five, the code enforcement officer shall visit the premises on January 14th for purposes of determining whether all vehicles in violation of Chapter 94 remain on the premises, and shall report same to the town supervisor, who is authorized to procure the removal services of a private contractor to effect the removal. And lastly, number six, that the removal by the town board does not prevent criminal charges being lodged by the code enforcement officer for violations in accordance with Section 94.6. That is the extent of the resolution. I'm going to open it up to the town board members for discussion. Over.
Well, I asked for a second. I'll second that.
Okay, so you seconded the motion. Okay, so now open to discussion by town board members.
How many cars again?
It was reported to me there was 42 cars. Not all of them, some of them are registered. We're not exactly sure how many. But as the resolution states, We're talking about the unregistered ones.
I'm confused. I had heard that he had removed 8 or 9 of them in the past couple of weeks. That doesn't seem like it was reflected.
And he's on his way to conforming to this resolution then, absolutely.
Okay,
Sir,
all right. Go ahead.
How's it going, guys? My name's Nick Kunkel. Thank you so much for even having this open platform to let me speak here. I entered in the chat a Dropbox link. My name is Nick Kunkel. I'm George Kunkel's son, the property owner of 1048. I just sent the Dropbox link into the chat here, just an email conveyance from my father stating that he has removed 9 vehicles from his property. About half of those vehicles, 20 of those vehicles are actually registered. My main reason for appearing tonight on my father's behalf is really just to request if it's possible to have an extension of time. It's the full intention of my father and on my part to assist and help him, actually comply with the town and keep everything right with the community. So I just wanted to appear here today to make that statement.
Thank you, duly noted.
Ken, in here, did you say what the code says about how many even registered vehicles could be on a private property? I'm trying to go back.
If I recall from my reading of the code, it doesn't state an exact amount of vehicles that need to be per acreage. That's just my layman's person reading though.
Howard, do you know what the code says?
With respect to registered vehicles?
How many registered vehicles can one property owner have on?
I don't believe there's any limit. I think the issue that comes up is whether it's approved for auto repair under the zoning law, whether it has site plan approval for that.
Right, that's what
That's a separate issue. I mean, if it's not approved by the planning board for auto repair, then I don't know what all the registered vehicles are doing there if they're not all owned by the property owner.
I think the point is, I think the statement is that they are owned by the property owner, and I believe I heard from the other Mr. Kunkel that many of these cars apparently are not registered in New York State and through Vermont. I think I heard that might be inaccurate. So, but this is what the code enforcement officer will be working with the property owner to determine. This resolution is not intended to analyze at that level. The code enforcement officer, this is what we're authorizing him to do. To go onto site, we work with the property owner to determine which of these vehicles are in violation with this resolution. And that's all it's intended to do. Over.
Sir, if I may jump in here. Myself, my father included, we had the full intention of working with the community and the inspector to make forward progress that we're falling in line with the guidelines. If I may note really quick, I know there was some discussion apparently with regards to this in March or February. In that time period, my father actually was diagnosed with COVID-19, and he was in a very poor state for a very long time. And as a total side note to that, I know you guys had mentioned Donna Kunkel, which is his wife. Maybe it's not apparent. She's actually not a native English speaker, and a lot of her reading comprehension is really poor. And with my father working, it's extremely difficult for her to read documents, which is why I took it upon myself to get involved in this matter from a fully coherent and capable individual that wants to make sure that forward progress is happening here.
Mr. Kunkel, that's all we're looking for here. We've stated January 14th. We'll make a visit. Our code enforcement officer obviously will make multiple visits to the site to work with you and your father. So that's what we're looking for, cooperation to this resolution. And I appreciate your coming to this meeting tonight, and we certainly want to have a positive relationship with you and your father. And so what we're looking for is movement forward on this. But The resolution speaks for itself. Obviously, we're looking to enforce the code, and the code enforcement officer will keep the town board apprised of the progress towards that. The goal is to have them removed by January 14th, but also the code enforcement officer has to work with your father to determine exactly which vehicles we're talking about. So we absolutely will be looking forward to that process over the next almost month, and actually a month from today. And so thank you for your input, and I guarantee you we'll work with you. We're looking
I
forward to
appreciate
getting
that, sir. And I appreciate you guys having this platform to allow members of the community to even converse with the members of the board as well. If you allow me a minute to speak on my father's character, just so you guys have some background and history on him. My father's a veteran. He was active in 9/11 at Ground Zero as an emergency responder, assisting. For those reasons, he has a lot of vehicles on the property for potential community emergency response relief efforts. I'm aware that the number is quite high, and we need to fix that. And I'm in the process of helping you do that. And if at all possible, I'd love to check in at the next town meeting, be able to present the progress that we've made from this discussion to that discussion that will happen then, and beat some kind of a threshold to show that we're making progress and set dates to check in.
Well, I appreciate that offer. I'd just like you to work with the code enforcement officer. He's charged with apprising us of the progress. So thank you, and thanks to your father for his service. And I do need to move this forward now, but thank you.
All right, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, if any town board member has further comment, otherwise I'd like to move this forward. Could you give me a thumbs up if you're ready to vote on this? Okay, I think I see everybody. All right, I'm going to go down, take a roll call vote. Again, this is just a motion to approve the resolution, and I'll start with Maria May.
Aye.
Ray Reichcott.
Aye.
Michelle Lindsay. Sorry, Michelle, I don't hear you.
Aye.
Myself, Ken English, aye, and Dave McMillan.
Aye.
Okay, this resolution is passed, and now Billy gives a direction to our code enforcement officer, and thank you. We do have some other business extending building moratorium law. Somebody else want to read this? I think the public's probably tired of hearing my voice, because I certainly am.
I have it in front of me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Whereas the town board adopted on May 27, 2020, a local law titled Moratorium on Development Approvals, which local law temporarily suspends requirements to approve developments, except for certain specified development applications, while the town considers and adopts changes to its land use regulation. And whereas this local law was accepted and filed by the New York State Department of State on June 26, 2020, as Local Law 3 of 2020, which is the local law's effective date. And whereas the purpose of the local law is to preserve the status quo pending the adoption of an amended zoning code in accordance with the newly revised comprehensive plan, in order to provide for controlled growth that will not unduly impact the public welfare, community services, schools, and infrastructure, will preserve open space, and will plan for a proper mix of residential and commercial development. And whereas while the town board has been working diligently with the town planner and town attorneys to draft an amended zoning code for the public's review, their work is not yet completed. And whereas the moratorium law, which provides for an initial moratorium period of 6 months, also provides that the moratorium may be extended by 2 additional periods of 3 months by resolution of the town board upon a finding of need for such extension. And whereas this board finds that there is a need for such extension in order to allow the town board and its consultants to continue their work and recommend an amended zoning code. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Tuxedo extends the moratorium and the terms and conditions of the moratorium local law for a period of 3 months, said time period to begin on December 26, 2020. I make this motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thanks, Maria. Discussion?
I have just,
Okay, Jay.
necessity
Jay
of
has a-
extension. And so,
Okay,
no, I
first
think Jay
Ken
wants
and
to
then-
speak up.
I'm sorry, hold on. Ken, sorry, we were talking over each other. Go ahead, and then Jay.
No, I understand the need for the extension. Of course, we're all in favor of trying to finalize this code, and I think we're committed to that under the next extension. So I'll pass my baton to Jay. Thank you.
Jay?
yeah, I mean, Ken's pretty much got it. I think that we got 6 months to get this done. So
Well, the first extension is 3 months. Maybe we can even get it done in that time period.
okay, I'm okay with that too. But anyway, that's all.
Dave or Maria?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. You want to lead the vote? Roll call, Michelle?
Sure. I'll start with Maria May.
Aye.
Jay Reichgott,
Aye.
Dave McMillan,
Aye.
Ken English,
Aye.
and myself, Michelle Lindsay, aye. The resolution passes.
Thank you. Okay, really, the bulk of the rest of this meeting is about, we need to adjourn into an executive session, not adjourn, I guess move into an executive session. We have issues related to PBA contract, lease agreements on Long Meadow Road, and litigation issues regarding code violations, actually other than the instance of this evening that we were discussing. And so these are all rationales for being an executive session. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, or is the word adjourn, Howard? I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but to move into.
The motion to adjourn into executive session is fine. Just before you do that, you may want to take public comment because you don't know how long you need executive session, and there may be some people that want to express something but don't have the stamina to hang out.
I'll unmute. I'll allow everybody to unmute themselves. Also, I do want to say I got a text from Fran Liza, who is on the homeowner association board at the Woodlands, and she, for some reason, wasn't able to be heard during the public hearing. Let me see what she has to say. She said the no rate increase, 3 sand beds will be replenished according to DEC regulations. And she said that's all she wanted to add. Just got that notice. That message from her. So anyway, for public comment, I will unmute everybody. I will allow people to unmute themselves. That's what I'll do. There we go. Okay. You can unmute yourselves if you would like to make a public comment on general items.
I'm here. Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Evelyn David.
Hi, Evelyn.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. This is to your attorney who said at the last meeting he would check on the ERP. the emergency response plan from the Arden Dam people. And just wondering if there's an update, if they handed in a new plan, revised their number 4, which gave the liability, put it on the town of Tuxedo.
I don't think it was actually Howard who was looking into that. It was me, Jay
Oh.
Reichgott.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we are waiting for the updated. I'm waiting for an updated version of the plan. I've been working with the planning board to look into this.
Okay.
And as of now, the information I have does not assign any responsibility to the town, but I'm not sure that I'm looking at the most recent documents. So we are still looking at that.
Yeah, you're not. Actually, the number 4 assigns the liability to the town of Tuxedo. Okay, so you know what? Just next meeting, whenever anything happens, I'll just check in with you and see what's going on. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you very much for your help. Thank you.
Thanks, Evelyn.
Okay, bye. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. How do I unmute?
How do you mute? I'll do that for you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else can unmute themselves? If you'd like to make a public comment, you can just unmute yourself now. I would say it sounds like we don't have any more public comments.
Thank you. I'd like to close the public comments and move now to the executive session as was outlined earlier. And now we have the technical challenge, Dave and Michelle, to move to executive session. I'm not sure that's been totally resolved. I think we were going to try to move to
Dave and I were working on breakout sessions, and I think that he's got it under control. Let's see.
Well, I do, but there's one caveat to breakout sessions. It does not allow phone-in users to break out. You have to be.
I'm actually online. I'm actually on Carolyn Kelly, the computer. I don't have my camera turned on because I'm working from her
Okay.
Chromebook.
So let me just make sure we have the right role. I got you in there now as Carolyn Kelly. So I have Michael Richardson and Howard, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll move Howard in. All right, you guys ready? Here we go.
Okay, and you know what else? Should I stop the recording?
Yes.
Can I do that, or do you have to do that? Let's see. I think you have to, Dave.
I don't care about the
Um, yeah, I'll have to go back out and bring him in.
But I'm in there now.
Okay, Dave, are you gonna have to do the same thing you did for Maritza?
Let's see. Ken English.
Kenneth English, yeah.
Move into executive session. Okay.
I want you guys to know that, so we do break rooms at schools. The other day I couldn't figure out, a fourth grader goes, Dr. May, this is what you have to do. And he guided me through the whole.
And we're back.
And presto. Can't hear you, Michelle. You're muted.
I'm just surprised there isn't anybody who stayed.
No, actually, when I came back in to get Ken in, there was no one. When we went over to breakout, they were all gone. So
Okay.
here we are. All right, Ken, can you hear us?
All right, I make a motion that we adjourn the regular session of the town board meeting at 10:18. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
So it was seconded by Dave. I'm not sure if Marissa is still here. Dave, seconded by.
Marissa is here. Yes.
I'm here.
Oh, thank you, Marissa.
No problem.
You deserve a trophy for that. Make a motion to adjourn was by Michelle.
Seconded by Dave.
Seconded by Dave, and it is 10:19. And I'm writing this on my Google Doc, Marissa, that you shared with me. So a lot of this stuff is already on here, and so you don't have to keep. But anyway,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody. This was, I think, we got a lot done, and I'll be following up with Michael Richardson both about the PBA and this stuff with the budget pay grade things. And all right, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Roll call.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Aye. Everybody say aye.
Aye. Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Good night.